Hi and welcome to another Vision Australia Vision Store product demonstration. And as you can see in this video demo today, I'm going to be talking about the large print high contrast USB keyboard, which has white characters on a black background, i.e. black keycaps. And of course the rest of the keyboard case is black. So white lettering on a black background. So let me just go through a number of features of the keyboard, and then I'm going to make a couple of observations at the end of this demo. So as you can see, it's our traditional QWERTY style keyboard. And at the top, we've got our escape key, and then we've got our function keys, which are nicely delimited by a nice space. So function keys 1, 2, 3, 4, space, function keys 4, 5, 6, and 7, then the space. Sorry, I forgot to say 8, didn't I? Function keys 5, 6, 7, 8, then a space, function keys 9, 10, 11, and 12, and then a small space, and then we've got our traditional grouping of keys here, which also contains our page up, page down, home and end, insert and delete in a grouping. And of course below those sets of keys we have our traditional upside down capital T for our cursor cross, left, right, and then of course up and down in the middle. And then over on the right hand side we have our full size numeric keypad. And then we have tactile markers on our F and our J keys, and of course a tactile marker on 5 on the numeric keypad. Now when it comes down to the bottom of the keyboard next to the space bar, if you were using this with a Windows or are using this with a Windows 10 machine, we've got our modifier keys the usual way around on both sides of the keyboard. For example, on the left hand side we have Control, and then our Windows key, and then our Alt key. Okay, so that's if you're using it on a Windows 10 computer, and I'll get onto in a minute if you are using it on an Apple Macintosh, such as a MacBook Pro, MacBook Air, or of course on an iMac or Mac Mini. All right, the other thing I wanted to actually let you know about is at the back of the keyboard, and I won't put them up at the moment, you've got 2 little feet that you can pull out, and that will actually put the keyboard at an angle. You have a really good, and this one's currently tied up at the moment, a good meter worth and a bit more of a USB cable. Of course that plugs in the USB port on your computer, and that's a nice length because depending on where your computer's sitting, this keyboard will stretch a fair bit as far as the cable's concerned, which is good. The other thing I like about it is that it's not a noisy keyboard to type on. So if I just type in the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog and raced away into the bush, never to be seen again, and I always do this, enter, even though it's not currently turned on. So it is really quiet keyboard. The nice thing about this keyboard is the fact that it's also only $15 Australian, which is actually really cheap. Now, as I said at the beginning, I wanted to make 2 observations in particular about this USB keyboard. Number one, I think it's always important, it doesn't matter what computer you're using, whether it's a Windows 10 machine or an Apple Macintosh, you always need some sort of, at the moment, hardware keyboard like this USB one. Because at the end of the day, if your smart keyboard, your Bluetooth keyboard loses battery, stops working, the machine's ignoring it, and so on, then the only way you can get a machine back again really is by plugging in a hardware keyboard via USB. So the benefit of this one, of course, is that if you're a low vision user, you get your large print at the same time on the keyboard. And for people that are completely blind, of course, you get a good laid out QWERTY keyboard to use. So that's point 1. Point 2, and this is more for the Apple Macintosh users amongst us, including myself. When you plug this keyboard into your computer, into your Mac, what's going to happen with these modifier keys is it's going to change slightly. So normally when we're using the screen reader voiceover on our Apple computers, i.e. Apple MacBook Air, Pro, iMac, Mac Mini, normally the modifier keys on the left hand side of the keyboard would go Control, Option, and then Command. What this keyboard actually does is Control, Command, and Option, which means your two modifier keys, the Control key and the Option key, are separated by one key when you need to do the initial voiceover command. However, two things: you can still use the caps lock key as your voiceover modifier key. Plus, also you can, if you really want to, go into system preferences on the Mac and change the modifier keys around to best fit your needs. But that's all I wanted to say about this large print white on black USB keyboard. As I said, it's really important, I still think, to have at least a hardware keyboard somewhere in your house to use in case your Windows 10 or your Apple Mac goes down for some odd reason. It's ignoring the actual Bluetooth keyboard. I definitely use this on both my Mac Mini and my Windows 10 Surface Pro. So if you'd like more information about the keyboard, the product ID is E for elephant, S for Sam, 7444. That's ES7 444. You can contact the Vision Store to ask more about it on the main or via the main Vision Australia number, which is 1300 847 466. You can email the Vision Store at Vision Australia on visionstore@visionaustralia.org. And of course, you can always log in to the web shop, which is simply shop.visionaustralia.org. Stick in large print keyboard, or the product number again, ES7 444. And remember, there are also two other styles of high contrast keyboards besides this white on black unit. So there we go. As I say in all my other video demos, thank you for your attention, and bye for now.